are created around trends. Today, we're talking to a brand that's slightly different. It's quieter, it's slower, and it's deeply intentional. We're joined by Snigdha and Arunima, the minds behind OYL, short for Out Your League. It's a label that's rooted in textiles, thoughtful curations, and the beauty of things made by real hands. Their work reminds us that every piece of clothing doesn't have to be perfect to feel meaningful. Let's welcome them to Dil Se Duniya Tak.
So when we say slow fashion, like how we were talking about it, right? What actually is slow fashion? It's not just a word or a term. It is something here to stay, to sustain, to last for a longer time.
Yes.
And how do we relate it? If we use in the normal Gen Z language, it'll be probably something which is effortless, something which is timeless.
Yes, yes.
Something that is not driven by trends. What is slow to you might not be slow to me.
Correct. Everybody has their own perception when it comes to
But
slow.
when we say slow fashion, by and large, it means something that is here to stay for a longer time. It's not like you're wearing a t-shirt, you want to wear it for like, it's fashion driven. It's got all the tees, the graphics, the latest thingies. And then you want to like sort of say, oh, I'm tired of it, bored of it, 4 months. Now I think I should discard it. I'll get another one,
Yeah, right.
You see, right? So these garments are there to be sustainable. They're here to stay. And they're more timeless. They're more classic in nature in terms of silhouettes. They will be more simpler. They will be more toned down. They'll be more subtle, more fluid, like we say, fluid fashion.
Right. I think that's why people also really appreciate vintage stuff, because it's so timeless that you can just pair it up with anything in whatever era and period, and it just sits so well. So when I look at bags, right? So I'm just like, okay, the trendy bags are all in, but somehow I'm always connecting to those kind of bags, which is just very chic, very cutesy, which will fit with all kinds of things and everything. It looks good with a sari, it looks good with a kurti, it looks good with western wear. So I like to look at pieces which I can utilize everywhere. And I buy stuff where I'm going to exploit it till it tears down. So I'm just like that. I'm just like super. If I invest 15,000 on a bag, I'm going to use it till it's done with. को मैंने फाड़ डालना है, तब तक I have to use it. So
exactly, yeah. That is slow.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Because it has a larger shelf life.
Correct. Yeah.
All perspectives. From a design perspective, it will be more timeless. It will not be driven by trends. From a material or a construction perspective, from a silhouette perspective, right? So so they'll be more timeless pieces, like you said, right? It's something like even if we go to the wardrobe today, we will only pick up something. There are some 4-5 pieces which we'll end up picking every time, no matter how many times, because that's comfort to us.
Yeah. Yes.
No matter how old it is. I will still have probably a 10-year-old piece line, but I'll still be wearing it.
Same. Because I have clothes from 10 years ago. I know I'm not going to fit into them ever. It's just not going to happen, but it just has been a part of my life at such a stage, right, that I just cannot let it go. I don't know, people call it hoarding, I guess, but I just
appreciate it. It's a feel-good factor. Yeah. It's also an inspiration. Yeah. You might not get into it, but still, it's a feel-good factor. It's there, something that is close to you, close to your heart, right?
And some pieces you really love, you can't let it go,
Absolutely, absolutely. You have to tell me about your brand. How do we say this? Out of your league. How do we say that?
So it's basically out of your league, OETTA, a little more slangish, but a little more normal as well. So we're trying to keep to embracing imperfection. We don't want it out of your league. No, it's out of your league. It's just a flow.
But it's just a very unexpected name in the slow fashion scene. Like, it's just like out there, right? So what does this mean to you guys? Why did you come up with this name? Like, please tell me about it.
So see, the thought was Popeye the Sailor. He has a girlfriend, Oil.
Popeye the Sailor. Is Olive? Was her
Olive
name?
Oil. Her name, yeah. Okay. So, that was like quite a catchy thing, man. I mean, when you see relationships, when you see these cartoon characters, which are so innocent, right? It just stuck. It just stuck in my head, right? And when there is an urban dictionary to it. So I went deep diving into it. And, I figured out, why is it called Out of Your League? OYL. So every woman is special. Every woman, there is exclusive.
Correct.
So respect for every woman, however she is, whatever she is, it is very special. She is very special, and she is out of your league.
Love it. I love it.
Defining a woman.
Nice. I absolutely love it. So you work with a lot of textiles and crafts, and we just spoke about imperfections. Like, can you just talk about it again with me? Imperfections and what it means to you guys, and when it comes to fabric.
Do you want to say that?
Yeah. So when we talk about imperfections, it's something that is naturally found in fabrics, like in hand-woven fabrics, or maybe prints that are hand-done by artisans. So these are little, these are what we call as, intrinsic to the nature of the fabric, When as the cycle has moved on and people are looking at more mill-made fabrics, or, screen printing, or, digital printing, you find perfection, there's everything that comes out perfectly because it's all fed in. But when it comes to artisanal skills, and as humans, there will be some amount of flaws, and that is something that we'd like to embrace, and I think people are loving that. People want that more and more these days. So that is where, we've always loved it. And, we want to have these skills. We want to innovate these skills and have it continue as we move forward.
There's just something very eye-catchy about these kalamkari sarees I see, which are like hand-printed. When I just go to these particular stalls always because there's just something very human about them. Like they've poured their all of it into that, right? So it's very attractive, absolutely.
Yeah, like kalamkari is just one art.
Correct.
In our country, we have so much of art that every mile probably you'll go, you'll see the actual creativity lies there. When I'll share a little bit of my journey with you. In the days when I just passed out from my institute into design, and I was with an NGO, and we went to the village at the grassroots. So they were sewing and they were doing applique, okay, patchwork.
Right.
Now I told them that how do you even come up with these nice ideas of a bird, a flower, or whatever? Because what we do earlier, you make khakas. It's called khakas. You make a imprint of it, and then you transfer that onto the fabric from paper, and then you start sewing on it.
Right, yeah.
They said, if there is a plane crossing by, we will just draw that. We'll just replicate it directly. See, that's creativity.
Yeah, you're just taking inspiration from everything around you.
Yeah, it's just coming naturally, right? You're not even making anything. You have seen that, you have observed it, and then you are replicating. So that is the beauty, right? So that when we say imperfection, and also it's real, it's something that's going to be spontaneous, right? Not, you don't have to really feed in with a lot of things, and
Yes, got it.
art, kalamkari, it's a pen art. So likewise, you have hand block printing. You have ajrak. Ajrak is a version of a hand block print.
Yes.
There's so much of art, tie-dye. I mean, there is endless in textiles, be it in anything today, if any art, embroideries that we do, any kind of surface ornamentation that you do on garments or anything, that is, so everything is all handcrafted, that is the beauty. And that is why it takes time. And there can be no second piece. It's exclusive.
Exactly. I think people these days really want to have something extremely unique about them, about their style, their preferences, right? Everybody wants to have their own unique style. Copying ka zamana bahut pehle chala gaya. People want maybe something similar, but of course something which makes a statement about them and their personality more so. So that's what they're looking for. I personally don't like wearing something if somebody else has the same thing. I want to look for something else.
Yeah.
Agar she's wearing a blue sari with whatever printing, I would want to look for the same kind of printing, but not the same sari itself. So so I am not somebody who's into online shopping in general.
No, I mean, that is so good, talking about the online space, that is one thing, when you are actually, you don't want a second piece, just and it's just being very rampant these days. So you can actually make out a person passing by, this is online. You see,
Right.
because everything is being picked up by AI today, and it replicates, and people at large, they find it's a price sensitive market. So you feel that it's good value for money. But then see, those things will exist, they will be there. But for people today who understand, who say, yes, I don't want a second piece, it's exclusive, it's premium. And so we say, premium luxury, premium affordable lux. Why it doesn't come? Because today when a karigar is making one garment, it takes him an entire day to do that garment. Whereas if you're seeing the other, say 3 to 4 multiple, if you go to a departmental store, you'll get that because they layer it, they cut it, it's the same pattern, same thing, right? Yeah. So that's much more economical versus one. So where he does 3 in a day, he does only 1 in a day, and it's expensive. That's how the labor increases, the charges increase, right? Yes. So when you have these things all come along, it's a part of it. But people want handcrafted, but they don't want to pay a price
for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is probably that's a challenge, but there are a lot of people who want to pay. So for example, a customer who understands linen, the beauty of linen is crinkled. It'll be crinkled. The minute you wear it, it'll start crinkling. But that's the beauty of the fabric. So for people who understand it, will love it. For people who don't, they'll say, oh, ye ho gaya. But that's not your customer then.
Yeah. Correct. Finding a right customer is also a very big thing about running any kind of business, right?
It's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Correct. And also I think with time, I've also realized we also have a business, right? That when you start justifying your price point, is that is the point where you realize that person is not your customer since the beginning. So
no, absolutely. Yeah. You have to first define your customer. You have to cater to that customer. You cannot be there for everyone and everywhere, because then it'll become a mass market.
Yeah,
so there is nothing wrong with that, but then that's a different product and that's a different way to look at it, and then it's definitely not slow fashion.
Correct. Right. I think going and so we used to do lots of stalls in different places because we wanted to be everywhere, right? So we've done both. We've gone to people who really appreciate the handmade market, they appreciate art and everything, and they're ready to pay for it without any negotiation. And there are people who are like, no, we want this, but we're not happy with the pricing. So we've experienced all kinds of customers, and then we have never sold anything at a discount because we're like, no, we're not going to degrade the artisan's work at any point. So same price so we will sell, but we'll never undersell it. It's just not. So yeah, people have to appreciate art.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, in an exhibition or putting, we have done pop-ups, and we do very, very selective, hardly 2 or 3 in a year, and with very few of the curators. But, when people come to these exhibitions, knowing that it is handcrafted, knowing that it is a heart, it is an artisan's heart, you are still, it's just a namesake thing. They love the bargain. They want that, I want to take a deal from here. But, when you tell them, see, this is where you touch livelihoods. This is where we are, we don't give a discount. It's not like you elevate your price and then you reduce them to just come to a level of bargain. No, the real thing is you appreciate the fact that it is artisanal and then you pay the price for it. And how does one survive? They got to survive. We got to pay them upfront so that, they can live a better life and they can do more. They can do more. They can transfer that skill to their generations. And that is why today also it's sad, but that is dying because of these reasons, and the replication that is happening in the market,
Yeah.
a lot of replication, which is not, real artisanal product and stuff. See,
I
there is
think
no harm in,
yeah, sorry, please go on.
no, I mean, I think there's no harm in doing something that is commercial. But then, okay, that's a separate thing. That's a separate exercise altogether. Somebody doing that. You can't compare that with an artisanal product where the pricing and, the way the whole process is.
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, you were telling?
Yeah. So, so buying something artisanal, there is an entire thought. It's a thought which is coming to life, and that is where a craftsman is, exhibiting his skill, okay, or her skill for that matter. And it could be anything. It could be jewelry, metal art. It could be, garments. It could be anything, anywhere. Anything that is handmade is going to be more expensive and it will be exclusive.
But there's also this one particular thing about so many people are coming to the realization that how much ever we are putting in the effort, but we're not getting the right pricing for it. So people are not encouraging their next generation to get into the same craft. So it dies with them. So that is one of the biggest problems I've seen, which has been happening.
It's a challenge, because today's generation, be it rural India or urban India, you obviously, you don't have that kind of level of patience as to what, your generations that have, gone by and are trying to transfer that skill to you. Because today money is important. You have to earn. You have to live a good life. You have to be educated. So how do you survive when, you're just struggling to survive? That's how they are seeing their parents like this. So the children are not willing to get into that kind of a skill,
Yeah.
So either they're moving to urban areas and doing menial work, like they just some of them are security guards. I mean, there's this entire study where they're moving into urban areas because they need a regular pay.
Correct.
And they have a family to support.
Absolutely.
So these skills are all dying slowly. Unless people really take care or understand better and buy their products and keep these these arts or these art forms alive. Yeah.
I think it's also starting at the grassroots level of, let's say, even farmers, right? They're not encouraging their children to get into farming. They're like, just go to the city, do something else. So it's starting from there. And I think slowly people are realizing the value, but it's obviously a very slow going process. What, according to you guys, is one of the biggest challenges you faced till date?
So, challenges, it's very challenging. I mean, even till now, when we started about 2 years back, it's, when you're bootstrapped and, you are, it's a very homegrown thing and you want to keep it like this. So we are really not in an online space that, ispe laga diya, isko bech do, orders aa jayenge aur de do. No, we want people, the whole ethos is that we want people to touch and feel. It's not just a money minting thing. So there is a thought behind it. So yes, the struggle is there at every level. While we can get the fabrics and we can get those, that part is still not difficult because there is a lot of skill available and a lot of, weaver sections available in different parts of our country. The problem is getting a converter for it. Now, when you convert is when you have a good pattern master, a good tailor, to actually bring that design to life. You have the raw piece. So for people doing exclusive things where you don't have multiple pieces, they don't want to because इसमें तो बहुत time लगेगा, अभी time तो लगेगा, and that's why it becomes expensive.
Correct.
But they are not used to that. They are so used to the commercial thing and they are happy with that because it's a comfort zone, right? So then it's that part is very difficult to find. And, we have to, certain things, you have to get it done from certain factories because they are professionally, you get the good quality stitching, you get the good quality finishing. They understand the cuts and the silhouettes because we are trying to do a fusion. So where we try to give something more like Western cuts, something more like dresses and kurtas that you can wear, as one dress, as one ensemble. We struggle to convert that one piece also. And that still remains. But yes, it's a part of the process, I think, until we become sizable enough to have our own setup, where you are having your pattern masters, your masters to be able to do that,
Right.
So yes, but it's okay. That's a part of life and goes on.
I think these only challenges make us super motivated to push us on, right? What do you guys do when sometimes the disappointment is a little too much to handle? So how do you guys motivate each other to go on? Like two heads in a business is great because one person usually gets demotivated very fast. So how do you guys lift each other up, encourage each other to karenge, aaj main karungi, kal tum karo. So how does that dynamic work with you guys?
So we've been, we go back a long way. So we understand each other's personalities very well. So it's like when I'm down, she's up, or when she's down, I'm okay. So, we've constantly we've had each other's back for a very long time. So that way we know, where one of us may start feeling, those doubts creeping in, and then we motivate each other.
Right.
And the fact that, it's never always completely disappointing. So, we've always had good responses to our products. But the challenges are the only reason why, we might falter a bit. The responses, the customers who've been to us, love our products, have said so openly, they've given us that feedback. So that is the main motivator for us to keep pushing through, no matter what.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you're doing something wonderful.
Yeah.